This is how a lot of my projects start. Just kind of looking at what I'm going to be doing and just kind of getting a feel for how I'm going to approach it. I have thought a lot about this already, and I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to handle it. The biggest thing for something like this is placement. I've got to get it right the first time. Cutting a hole in the roof isn't something you get a do-over on, so I need to make sure that it's in the right spot the first time. But I think I'm ready. I've put a lot of thought into it, and I'm pretty sure that I know exactly where things need to go now. That first drill and cut is always the scariest. You may remember that I did that with the window here, but this one should be easier, and now I know what to expect since I've done a cut like this before, and the fresh air will do me some good. I ended up with a little bit of a sinus thing from the infection. The COVID stuff was actually pretty easy, thankfully, but now I've got a sinus thing. I'm trying to keep it from turning into a sinus infection, but the fresh air will do me some good, I think. It'll be a beautiful day here again today, so we'll do that. So I have this is the platform for the roof, and it's a standard, 14-inch square cutout. I've got the Max fan in the house right now. And, based on my test fitting, it should go in and look really good. It should be perfect, as long as I have the placement correct. So, let's get to work. Okay, I think I have the placement figured out. So this is where the fan will go. I'm laying on the bed looking directly up at it. And you can see my wiring is here already. This is the roof mount. And if I place it, I'm just looking at the placement here. If I get it with this middle screw hole right there where the rib is, right in front of that bump, it will give me the flat surface to mount all of the screws in and give me the positioning that I need. So the next step is to get my dry erase marker. That's how I do all of my work on these painted surfaces, because you can correct things and then just clean it up later with some alcohol or something. But I need to go up on the roof and trace the opening and then make sure that I'm happy with it. But I think that's the plan. So I'll go grab my moving blankets and the ladder. I'll try to stay on the ribs anyway, but this is always the nervous part, because once I get that trimmed or traced, then I need to drill holes. I'll drill holes in the corners where they're going to be rounded slightly, and then jigsaw to cut it out. So before I do that, I will tape up some plastic sheet over this area so it'll catch any of the projectiles and falling debris. But if I can get that cut out and looking good, and then I'll paint the edges, of course, I could probably get this knocked out today. So that would be nice. Okay, I think we're ready. That's a 14-inch square with beveled or rounded edges or rounded corners. It'll give me just a hair of adjustment so that I can make sure that it's straight. All right, well, I'm gonna go get my drop cloth, tape it up over the ceiling, and make that first cut. Here we are on the inside. I've got my drop cloth up. Hopefully the shavings don't get so hot that they melt through, but even if they do, this will give me at least some decent protection on the cleanup. And then I have my moving blanket on top of the mattress also. I think we're good. Most of the work will be upstairs anyway, so I don't have to worry about this stuff here. And then once I'm done, I'll just pull it all out and shake it out and throw it away. Well, I won't shake out the drop cloth, but you know. All right, time to go get a drill bit. Well, there's no going back now. I think that it went pretty well. I have to clean up the edges and then get it painted. But yeah, there we are. All right, so it's a little later in the afternoon. I stopped and had a bite to eat. I have the mounting trim upstairs and a couple of braces, one on the front, one on the back. So now I'm gonna go grab the fan and do a test fit, and then assuming that everything is good, I will go upstairs, lay my Eternabond, and mount the fan. All right, here's my test fit. Looks good. It looks like it's centered, and I think I like it. Once I get the fan mounted, I still have to do the woodwork for the ceiling, but that should be fairly easy. Yeah, so. All right, the fan is mounted and I have the wiring just braided together so I can test it. It closed itself, so I know that it's getting power. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Air in, air out. All right, it's at 50%. I have the doors and stuff open, so I'm not gonna know the difference, but the good news is that it's working. So just to summarize, this was mounted in a standard 14-inch cutout that I created, but if you have an existing fan, this would fit right in. This is the black smoked version. There's another one with a white top. I got the black because at night you won't be able to see it if it's open. For stealth camping, that was kind of what the idea was. The mounting plate is screwed into the roof. I have a strip of butyl tape underneath that, and then the Eternabond tape around the seams and covering all of the screws and everything else. So that should provide a nice watertight fit. I need to clean the solar panels already. Down here, I just need to trim the interior trim that goes around the fan and attaches to the ceiling. And then I need to cut the ceiling panels so that they go underneath the trim and stop. I may or may not do that today. A break probably isn't a bad thing. The important part is that it's working. I will do the wiring. I have the connectors for that. I'll go ahead and just get that wired so that I don't have to worry about the wires touching anything. And I can actually test the fan portion of it with the doors closed after that. So there you have it. This is pretty much the last piece Everything else is done, mostly. I've got a couple of little detail things that I want to do, but generally speaking, that's it. The fan really was the last thing, and you know, it was obvious it was going to be necessary, and I decided I'd go ahead and just knock it out and get it over with. So I think we're ready to rock and roll. Everything else works. So I'm going to start thinking about where to go, and at some point I'll give you an actual full tour of what we did in here and talk about it in more detail. Having done one of these, I know that there are some of you that are interested in the ZenVanz kits, and I might be able to provide some input from a DIY perspective. ZenVanz does offer an install option where they'll put it in for you, which isn't necessarily a bad idea if you're not comfortable with woodworking or drilling holes in your van, stuff like that. I don't think they do the wiring. Well, maybe they do have a wiring option. I know that that's one of the packages they have, so maybe they do some of the wiring too, but you'd want to check with them about that. But yeah, we are home stretch. We're just about done. So thanks for watching and cheering me on, and until next time, have a great day.